adding color to your morning. You're listening to The Breakfast Show with Robert Ashitey.
Have a good day, and all my homies gonna ride today, and all these mommies look fly today, and all we wanna do is get by today. Hey, we're gonna have a good day.
You know, when you say something so many times, it just has to happen, you know, because it just is. So you're going to have a fantastic and a glorious day. And without further ado, guys, we've just now gone 1:15 and we just had the news. And we are coming to the part that I love the most. So we have our interview with our guests coming in, and Thursdays is all about our mental health, managing our mental health during this pandemic. And I just want to give a huge breakfast show warm welcome to the one and only Nathesha! Nathesha! Nathesha!
Please. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning, breakfast show. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, everyone.
How are you doing today, super lady?
I am well. I'm blessed. I'm good. I'm here by the grace of God.
You are fired and you are inspired.
Yay, as always.
I love it. I love the energy. It's like, you know, when you play tennis and you hit the ball out and the person reciprocates with the ball back and you get like a good game going. I love it. I just love it.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It's good therapy. But you have a good weekend?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Yeah.
Very busy. It was great. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's what we like to hear. We had our show last week. We had our continuous battle with gremlins that appear in the system, and we had the interview with you yesterday. And I must say, I was really enjoying the interview with you yesterday. Sorry, not yesterday, last week. All right. And, you know, and was talking about obviously what you do in terms of mental health. We was talking about, you know, how it started to affect you, and obviously that's when we had the sound issues, yeah. But what you pretty much said to us is that obviously you was doing your thing, living your life. You're a positive person anyway, you know. You obviously you're there helping a lot of people. When the lockdown hit, you were someone that worked from home on one day anyway, and you were like, lockdown, I got this. Right? Oh, come on, seriously, what's the worst that can happen? And what happened is there was a few things that started to take place. So you was okay, you was rolling with it at first, right? And listen, this is really important for you, okay? Because the lockdown's easing up now, but we just want to show you how things can creep in to us. You know, human beings, we're very robust, powerful creatures. However, if we're not identifying certain things, you know, certain things can happen with us without even realizing it, you know. And this lockdown, we don't know if this will be the last. Hopefully it's the last one, but we don't know. But we just really want to equip all of you to identify things for yourself and for those around you. Yeah. So Nathesha, and God's girl, you're such a positive person. Every time I see a picture of you, you're always smiling, big smiles. You know, you're just that vibe, right? Yeah. That's Nathesha. All right. But then something started to happen, isn't it, during the lockdown? Yeah.
So for so as you said, it was really positive initially. Working from home, great, fantastic. But even myself, I've had COVID, and it was quite a really scary time actually. And I really thank God, because I know that, you know, for anyone that's come through that, had it and come through, it's just like, you've just got to know that God was in there somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Even if you don't have a relationship with him, you just know that he brought you through that. Yeah. And as I became sort of like recovering and everything, and obviously the shielding, you know, to go back into my work zone, which was great, enjoying all this time at home. And just but what I was finding is that working from home, I was becoming more lazy, because I wasn't really finding much need to kind of get out of bed, get ready for work. Do you know what I mean? If I could just navigate, just get my laptop and just work in my bed, that's what I found myself doing.
So this was over a period of 1 week, then 1 week became 4 weeks, then it became a month, right?
Yeah, it just kind of blended. which I thought, it was going to be sort of like, a bit different, but it wasn't. That's what I found myself doing. And then I was working from my room, and I realized after a while that wasn't really helping me, because it was just lowering my motivation to do anything else. Do you know what I mean? And also, I wasn't having much sort of discipline between sort of working and switching off at, let's say, 5 o'clock, and then having my private life. What I was doing was that work life was rolling over into my private life. So I was having my laptop be open at various times in the evening. And there was just no kind of structure at all for me, or routine. Everything seemed to be out of sync. I became also quite overwhelming as well. Even though you're working from home, but you think that's great and ideal, but it actually wasn't, because it just meant that I was out of sync, completely out of sync with a lot of things, and it started to kind of take a little bit of a toll on me personally.
Sorry to cut you. I remember what you said about I don't need to go anywhere. So the routine of like, I'm God's girl. Let me just get freshen up, makeup, and then hair, and dress up and off. Woke up this morning feeling fine. Got something special on my mind. Got into work and all that kind of stuff. Became this.
Exactly.
I don't need to. Who do I need to look good for? Right?
No, don't need to make that effort. Especially when you can have like your meetings without turning on your camera.
Hey. You know what I mean? So let's get the laptop. We can just put it to the side of our pillow. No one will ever know. Like,
if only that camera was on and you saw what I look like behind there. Oh gosh.
So we became voice experts. We became we're like, hi, yes, I'm perfectly fine. Yes, I'm okay. Yeah, of course. Yep, definitely. We can make sure the file's done and it's ready to go.
I'm telling you, you just kind of like, you take advantage of that time where you're just away, you don't have to kind of turn up and show up type of thing, and that's great, but you kind of you get too comfortable, which is what happens with a lot of people who's working from home. You're doing it in your pajamas, you're just not, you're not making much effort to kind of even doing the basics, the exercise, just little things you just know, because you don't have to. You don't have to, in the comfort of your own home.
Absolutely. The things that we took for granted, eh?
Exactly.
So you said that, and you said, so this monotonousness, right, started to infringe. You felt it started to infringe on your mental health, because there's a spectrum to it, and you could perceive that, this isn't really good for me. Right? We may have listeners that, may be going through the same thing. And then what you did a few things to try to kind of like pull it back, isn't it?
Yeah, I did. I tried. I think what really brought me to a point of I needed to do something about it was I started to get, obviously with all the news and everything, and there was lots of, WhatsApps, information being shared through the WhatsApp, it's shared through media, and I became quite overwhelmed. I was added to so many WhatsApp groups, and I was like, look, it was ridiculous. And I'm a person that gives out a lot. Like I'd say 95% of my time I'm a giving person to others, but then I have my time, which is my me time, and that literally means just that. It's my me time where I don't actually want to have much communication with anyone else, because that's like physical communication, maybe over the phone, that's fine, but physical communication, no, because this is my me time, and it's my time to kind of check in with my own thoughts, my own feelings, what's happening inside of me, my body, my surroundings, the world, just isolating to a degree. So to kind of check in,
so that's a nugget right there. So I think everybody needs to have their me time, right?
Definitely,
because without the pandemic, life was fast anyway. With the pandemic, we do, there's other things that can be happening. We're back-to-back Zoom meetings, back-to-back, literally, and good to the cows come home, like late in the evening if you're not careful. So there's a nugget there. Having me time for you, a pocket where no one interrupts you, for you just to have your thoughts and just to be with yourself.
Absolutely. I recommend, if you're not factoring that in to your day, do so. Start doing that, because it helps to bring balance to everything else. You know, you can't be serving everyone else and you're not serving yourself.
True that.
That's the nugget right there.
True that. That's how you avoid things like burnout, isn't it? Because it's such a common thing. You know, people that were doing well, happy, smiley, and all of a sudden they're depressed, and you wonder what happened. What happened is that person actually got burnout. They were too busy giving, but they weren't taking care of themselves. And there's only so much any human being can do.
Exactly. And so what I said in terms of me recognizing that was, yes, it was the burnout. It was feeling I was feeling quite overwhelmed, and I started to have some panic / anxiety attacks as well.
Oh, wow.
And I remember I was about to join like prayer line once, and then I was just had like a major one right before.
Wow.
And I came on the line, and like one of our ministers was praying, and she said there's somebody that's, you know, on the line and you're feeling quite low, you know, overwhelmed. She started saying all the things that I was feeling. And I was like I was being quiet initially, and she's like, I'm going to give you all a moment to just share what God has done, because we prayed through it. She give us a moment to share, testify. Now I was quiet because I was like, well, you know, initially, you know, I'm a positive person. I'm always, do you know what I mean? And I felt a bit like,
it's not me. It can't be me.
Exactly. It was a bit like, no, you know, get kind of, but then God was like, no, I felt really prompted. You need to share this, because it's going to also bless somebody else here on the line as well, to know that we're human beings. Do you know what I mean? It's okay to not be okay sometimes. You understand? And that's another thing we kind of wear masks a lot, and we don't kind of accept sometimes be honest about how we're feeling. Because of maybe judgment of others. Okay. And how then can we access help if we're not honest about how you're feeling? So, you know?
That's a nugget right there. Be honest. Be honest. Exactly. Something's off. Be honest. Be honest with your boss. Be honest with your spouse. Be honest with those people who are important in your life, and also those who can help you. If you have a faith, a group surrounding you, or you have a group of friends that you can trust. Be honest.
Be honest. And I did that. Do you know what I mean? I was honest. That is the example I just gave. So I was honest in front of my church family. And I've been honest with my close friends that I can trust. You know, look, do you know what I mean? I'm not actually managing, I'm not coping, I'm not feeling great, you know what I mean? And they will step in, they would, encourage, they would, if they're of the faith, they would, pray with me, or, talk me through what I was going through. Just being, that support, because you need the support. We all need support.
And okay. Sorry about this, and sorry to interrupt you, but I don't know what it is about, when we're feeling off. It's like the more we try to keep it to ourselves, the bigger the monster gets. Right?
Exactly.
The more overwhelming it gets. We think we're helping ourselves by keeping it to ourselves. We deal with it, but it gets worse.
It does. It does. And these are where you're shifting now away into a zone more of isolation. Mentally. Depression. And anything else, anxiety, panic attacks, you're stressing, your body, because you're containing that emotion inside of you. Your trauma is trauma inside, internal trauma. That's what's happening. You're trying to process everything internally. And it's important that that what's happening internal is that it comes external. Okay. You release what's going on, and there's obviously, we could talk about different ways on how we can help ourselves. So
look, we're gonna come back to you. We're reaching that moment. We're gonna have to go for a timeout. And right now, Nathesha, what you're sharing with us today is that it doesn't matter who we are. Our mental health can be infringed. Doesn't matter if we have a reputation of being strong or being powerful. You know what I mean? We're human beings at the end of the day, and if we're missing things like me time, and we're just consistently on the go, we don't have a time to stop, reflect, and just have time with ourselves, we're gonna get burnout eventually. It could be 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, half a year, a year, 2 years. it will come, because we're human beings. We need time to solve. Then the other thing you shared was be honest. If you see that something's wrong, be honest. And I just want to take the opportunity right now for all our listeners, those of you who are abroad, those of you who are nearby. Nathesha spoke about the group that she had that was praying for her, and if for those of you who don't know, we do have the UCKG helpline available 24 hours. So you may be going through something right now, and you may need a prayer, you may need a word, you may need some support. Then make sure you get through to someone on our UCKG helpline. Okay, they'll give you a word. Don't stay in isolation. Don't keep this ball of emotion with you. I've literally put the number right there onto our live chat right now. 0207 686 6000. 24 hours. You can literally get in contact with someone. All right, so make sure you do. All right, or if you're in another country, just uckg.org and you'll find a branch, the number close to you where you are in the world. Nathesha, this is really interesting, and this is like heart surgery. This is like heart surgery. Like, okay, look, this is actually what's going on here, but we're gonna continue your interview in just a moment, guys. We're gonna have a very quick timeout, okay? So make sure you stay tuned in, stay logged on. We're gonna have more from Nathesha Ashbourne, and literally have your question in live chat. Ashbourne, and we'll be right back after this.
More music variety.
Liberty Radio.
So without further ado, we're going to get back in there with Nathesha. Super lady. Hey, God's girl. All right. So we're hearing your story now, and there was obviously during the lockdown, isolation, you had some challenges happening with you. You reached out for help, right? Now, obviously, a lot of people are going through this different things, right? You have neighbors that are next to you, that live right next door to you, and you probably don't even know. I mean, just while I've got you here, what would be a few of the warning signs, that someone next to you, maybe a relative, a friend, might be, struggling in a similar manner?
So one of the things that I noticed in my time was irrational behavior.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? Like really just kind of panic behavior. And even that's coming through even in the conversations as well, right? So, I'd have friends that may call and just literally panicking about everything. Chatter, that little small voice that just sort of chatters on in the background. Not quite making sense, if you know what I mean. So you could be speaking with somebody, but they're also kind of jumping in their conversations all over the place. That's a sign.
Okay.
Low moods, very low moods, not having any energy or motivation to kind of do anything or want to be around others, even for myself, as I mentioned just now, but I saw that in people around me as well. Again, just looking out for that change in somebody's behavior and character. Yeah. Whether that be a friend, whether that be a family member, you know them quite well, so you can see the difference when somebody is kind of going into a zone which is kind of not so healthy.
That's true. Yep. So look, so these are some telltale signs that Nathesha's showing with us. So irrational behavior, okay, panic behavior. Okay, so the person probably was a bit more calmer, or they're a bit more panicky and finicky than usual. Anything can start them jumping, right? A very low mood. Not that everybody is as happy and jovial as Nathesha is in the morning. However, you may see that difference in a person, or they're probably lower than normal, lacking energy, and they don't want to be around others. Now, dealing with these people without being aware of these signs, you could probably think the person is just being awkward, and you'd be like, stay where you are. You know what I mean? But how could we actually help people when we're seeing these signs?
Really be prepared to listen. Give space for somebody to speak. Don't just kind of because really when somebody's speaking, or they phone or a text, that's a reaching out for help.
Yeah.
All right, and that's how I literally see every text or every phone call that comes through, whether it's family or it's friends. I literally I have to give a space to ready to listen, you know. And if I'm obviously not available, then I need to also be prepared to say that, you know, that I'm not available in that moment. However, can I call you back at, or is there another time or that I can be available? Because the key is in the listening, and you can miss what somebody's going through if you're not listening and giving them that space.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's a big thing, because you'll get the telltale signs. Also, if somebody's just like, if you're trying to contact a friend or family and they're constantly not available, you know, I'm busy, I'm not available, that sort of thing, I'll call you back, and then they don't call you back.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of telltale signs as well. Somebody that's literally, they're hiding from interaction with other people.
Okay, strong things. All right. Now, what kind of things did you do to jumpstart yourself again?
Me, well, the first thing, I was obviously focusing on my health, and I just needed the me time. So I started to go on walks, long walks. And in my long walks, I'd go to places like the parks. I'm a big fan of like water and skylines and things. So I'll go where, you know, where the river was or something like that, and take photos as well. So I'm capturing what I'm seeing. So yeah, lots of photos about, you know, nature. Okay,
so you're a bit of a photojournalist then, are you?
Yeah, I do. That's a bit of that's my side hobby.
Okay.
Yeah, I love photos. Yeah.
Nice.
So, you know, that again was just like an all-rounder in terms of my me time. I factored in so many of those little things that it's all about. That's helping with my mental health. You know, it's a clear space. It's changing my environment. It's being more aware of my environment as well, the world around me. You know, how do I feel in comparison to everything that's going on around me? What is happening in my body? You know, what do I need to change? Go ahead.
You know, we're really big children, isn't it? Really. You know, we are literally, because we have to find ways to really look after it. The only thing is we ain't looking after ourselves. You know, mommy and daddy, they're probably doing something else, right? And we have to do things and appreciate things. The more we can get closer back to nature and to what is natural, it just has such a calming effect on us. And really we have to take ourselves out there sometimes and reconnect, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even things like I did bike riding as well.
Oh, wow.
And that was pretty, obviously, daunting to me on the roads, the main roads. But however, I challenged myself, and I went to places that I've I've never rode there. It's a bit of a distance, but I made up my mind, okay, I'm going to go and just do something different and also break up my day. So I'd literally finish work, close that laptop and get ready, jump on my bike, and I'd go somewhere, cycle for maybe about, I'd say, an hour and a half.
Wow.
And then, or 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah, we're in lockdown. Back. Hey, come on. Hey. You know what I mean? There's fewer people on the streets. When's a better time?
Exactly. And I'm meeting people on the way. Do you know what I mean? Other cyclists. I'll stop off at certain points, just taking the view around me and then get back on my bike and carry on. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. To take in natural views. Reconnect with nature, right? Get out there. Just get out there. Do something.
Yeah.
And you also went and started like a dance club as well, right? An exercise club.
Yeah. So this was a vision that I had some time ago, and I didn't quite know when or how to go about it. But during lockdown, I took some time out, spoke to God, I fasted, and He said to me, "Be more creative," and I was like, be more creative. Okay, and I started to think about all the things on my list. And then one day I was kind of just listening to music at home, I was doing my dance moves, and then dropped like a penny. He said, do you know what I mean? The name of my fitness thing is called Gospel Aerobics.
Aerobics, all right.
Gospel Aerobics.
Wow.
So that was like birthed, like there and then on the spot. He gave me sort of how to go about it, who to, what it should look like. So I created this online. It was an online fitness session for women.
Okay.
All right, so we had like 50 minutes worth of workout.
Yes.
We had prayer at the top and the bottom of the session.
Wow.
We had Q&A, fitness, nutrition and fitness Q&A section after your workout. And also a word for the week, or word of encouragement.
Whoa!
For the week.
So hello. So from one person who was isolated under the blankets with a laptop under the sheets, you've come at this person like pow. You know what I mean? Look, word of it, and it was all online as well.
Yeah, it was all online, and this is, you know, it was a leap of faith.
Yeah.
You know, it was me challenging myself and achieving my goal in pandemic.
Yeah.
It was a case of, I mean, I was so blessed to have so many women who were able to connect, because like literally from I right up until about 20 women at one point per session that we had. And initially it was for 4 weeks, but there was such a strong demand that we extended it for a further 3 weeks afterwards, which is quite amazing. We had women from London, Luton, Birmingham, Bristol, and also Grenada, as far as Grenada. And that's the power of doing things online.
Wow.
You know, we've never been able to access, you know, have so many women in one room, in one space.
No. You'd have to rent a place out.
In lockdown.
Yeah, you'd have to do all this stuff. So what the nugget I'm getting there is start to work with what you have.
Absolutely.
Right? Start work with what, if you have an idea, work with what you had. You had a room, space, a laptop, and then you took it from there, and then the inspirations came.
Made it happen.
So can I join?
Well, yeah. Well, we've stopped now, but there has been sort of demand for men want to get involved as well. So we'll be looking at rolling out another session at some point in the year.
Oh, shucks.
For men as well to join. So I'll let you know.
Great. So guys, keep an eye out for Nathesha's Instagram. And God's Girl. Yeah, and God's Girl. What was it?
Gospel Aerobics.
Oh, Gospel, and that's on Instagram as well.
It will be, it's on my handles as well. So Gospel Aerobics. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
fantastic.
and it's all gospel. Do you know what I mean? It's gospel music that we're dancing to, that we're working out to, you know, because there's no hiding. Do you know what I mean? I'm a Christian, and the fact so it's founded on, you know, the word of God. Absolutely. So it's just like incorporated. However, it's open to everybody. So it's open to my church, but it's also open to the community of any faith, of any age, you know, and any ability.
Yes.
You know, you can join and get involved.
Fantastic.
And so again, we know that working out, you know, it releases, you know, endorphins, in the brain, and it helps with your mental health.
Hey, you've literally tapped into all these things. So literally physical body, keeping it active, words of faith and encouragement, wonderful, good, clean music, people gather together in unison. Oh my gosh. Literally from your bed sheet to that is a complete turnaround. We have a question here from One Life saying, right before lockdown and during, serious financial problems, devastating breakup, severe depression, loss of family members, had COVID, and completely alone, no one at the time to talk to and understand the horrific unnatural event I was going through. I can say it was only God who pulled me through, guiding me to seek therapy. I am alive today through God's mercy, to not giving up. Wow, fantastic.
Hallelujah.
Well done.
Amazing.
Well done, One Life. That's it.
Overcomer One Life.
That's it.
You've got a testimony right there.
Absolutely. Keep it up.
Blessing people. Keep blessing people with that testimony.
That's the spirit. All right. Amen. So look, I think we can wrap up there. Yeah. Literally, so you've literally taken us through the journey, that, you know, the challenge that you face as someone who is into mental health and help people with their mental health. We saw how this pandemic, this experience actually infringed your own mental health to the point that you was having some really negative symptoms. However, key things, and I think the two things you touched on was, you know, being honest, you know, and having reflection time led you to start to recover. Look, guys, I hope you get all these nuggets in a nutshell. I'm going to be putting it on our Facebook page page, and I'm going to put these nuggets there. Why? Because then you can look out to see what's happening with your neighbor to your left and to your right side, and also you can examine yourself to see where you're going, okay? Because you was able to identify that something was wrong, but you may be there, listener, and you are not sure, you're unaware that something's not right. Your mental health is being infringed upon, right? So we can be a force for good to help others, and also we can also help ourselves. All right, we have a good morning from South Africa. Mandisa saying morning. That's it. Love those breakfast show talkers, guys. All right, but we're gonna hold your story there, Nathesha. All right, and because we're reaching a time now where we have to come with a wellness tip, so we're gonna go into some more music by the one and only Captain Hugo. All right, this morning, and then we'll come back and you're gonna give us a wonderful wellness tip to finish up the show today. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Fantastic. I love the energy, Nathesha. I love the energy. It's just let it shower over us. All right, guys, so we're going for a timeout. We'll be right back after this.
Adding color to your morning. You're listening to The Breakfast Show with Robert Ashitey.
Gonna have a good day, and all my homies gonna ride today, and all these mommies look fly today, and all we wanna do is get by today. Hey, we're gonna have a good day.
We're gonna have a good day. Hey. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Good day. Sing it. Here's another one. Absolutely, guys, this is your breakfast show, and it is a Thursday, guys, and we're so excited, and we're coming now to the final part of the show, which is the yes, it's the wellness section. All right, and because we've got her with us here, and she's literally just cruising us through the morning. We're cruising through the morning with Nathesha today. Absolutely super lady. We want to touch on a wellness tip you got for us today.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of this saying, health is wealth. Okay?
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth. Now, I like this scripture, and I'll just share it with you. It's 3 John 2. It says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou may prosper and be in health, even as thou soul prospereth. Yeah? So, with that being said, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to, a goal that you want to achieve, write it down. All right, write down your goal. Okay, write it down. Let your vision be plain. Again, Habakkuk 2:2 says, write down the vision and let it be plain. Okay, if you write it down, then it is much more easier for you to execute. Okay? And that's what I've learned with the gospel road bits. That was my, my health is wealth thing. And I had to write it down and make it plain. If I hadn't written it down, then I wouldn't have been able, I'd struggled to execute that.
Sure.
Right, so it's key. Write down the vision, make it plain.
And I have a question. Sorry to interrupt, but I have a question for our listeners. Do you see 2021 as a write-off? Or are you just cruising through 2021? If that's the case, then it's probably because you've got many things in your mind and you haven't been able to structure an action plan yet. So what Nathesha is saying is, guess what? If you've got things that you want to do, write it down. And from there, you can actually devise a plan on how to get to it.
Yes. Break it down and you'll see it, and you'll be able to work through it from week to week, day to day, month to month, step by step.
I'm on that program. Yep.
Yeah, and also look at it and see if after you've started it, if you feel, ask yourself the question. Be honest, is it challenging you? All right, it's a good question, because if it's too easy, then just tweak it a little bit so that it gives you that challenge.
So you mean it will kind of take you out of your comfort zone?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's where you grow. When something is just a little bit more of a challenge, then there's growth there. So yeah, those are my tips. That's me.
All right, guys. So there you go. So look, don't make 2021 be a write-off. All right, don't do it. It's too early. All right, just because there's a lot being said about lockdown and pandemics and all the rest of it, it doesn't mean we have to get shut down. As we've been seeing, all right, as we've been seeing on the Breakfast Show, people have been going out there. They've been doing stuff, impacting people's life, from Nathesha to all our other guests who have actually come in. And what Nathesha's saying to us today, don't give up on your goals, and don't keep them only in your head. Write them down, work backwards from them, devise a plan, and let's make the most out of this 2021.
That's right. As you say, that lockdown they say that we're locked down physically, but your mind is never on lockdown. Okay, right. Take the limits off, and whatever you think, that's what you are going to achieve. All right.
Fantastic. Well, Nathesha, thank you so much for those wise words.
You're so welcome. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, look, it's been great. It's great having you on the show. I think we have to parachute you in through the ceiling and literally just have you here. Personally, it'd be good to have you with us. As the lockdown eases, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, definitely, we're gonna hopefully we'll look forward to having you with us next week, Thursday, and we're gonna be talking about mindfulness. Mindfulness. This is gonna be really good because it affects how we relate with people and how people relate with us. All right, and how we relate with ourselves. So it's going to be really deep stuff. So we look forward to having you again with us again next week, Nathesha.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you, Breakfast Club. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, family and friends.
Excellent. And I want to thank you as well, Captain Hugo, our one and only Brazilian Clark Kent. Thank you for being a great man of sound.
Pleasure. Yeah, always good to be here.
All right, then I want to thank you, dear listeners, for being with us today. Those of you who've been doing some heavy, hard-duty hawker stalking, we definitely love you. And those of you who've been able to communicate with us on your journey, you've been sharing the morning with us, thank you all so much. And until tomorrow, which will be a breakfast show replay of Tuesday's program, okay, which I'm sure is going to add a lot of value to you, as we had Ken from the Humble Penny coming in on Tuesdays, and we always repeat Tuesday's program on the Friday, and most likely soon we'll have a repeat also on Saturday of one of our shows. But until then, guys, stay strong, stay safe, stay powerful. Even though we've been on the lockdowns easing, make sure your brain doesn't stay shut down. All right, and let's go out there and be the difference that we want to see in the world. Until then, ciao for now.
You've been listening to The Breakfast Show with Robert Ashitey.